All right, obviously a lot better weekend this past weekend. Sun was a little bit brighter on Sunday. It was good to have the sun out on Sunday after Friday and Saturday. But great to be back in Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. Just want to start what a great turnout by our fans. You sit there and have 8-9 inches of rain or whatever we had Friday night and Saturday, and so I know we had a lot of tickets out for the game. We were expecting a big crowd, but you worried with the weather. But I thought the stadium was fantastic. Fans were very loud. Students were loud. It made for a great environment. And obviously, one of the great things about playing at home is our fan base. So I just really appreciate those people that were out there in the weather and out there to support the players. And probably another thing too, just our grounds crew, Joey and his bunch. The field was beyond what you would expect, given the amount of rain that it took in 24 hours before kickoff, and really had no issues with the surface. Now everything else was wet, but those guys put a lot of work in. Steve and his equipment staff did a great job trying to keep as dry a football as we could have on the field. So just a lot of people put a lot of work in to support the players and the program this past weekend, and it turned out to be a really good weekend for our players and for everyone. So good to get in the win column, and good to get a win like that against a solid opponent. And set you up heading into conference play on a high note. So, questions?
Obviously, aside from just getting the win itself, what does a win do, just maybe confidence-wise, just between the years for the group, just moving forward, just getting that win out of the way?
Well, I think getting a win's important. I think getting a win like that in that kind of fashion is even more important. We had a great week of practice last week. We talked about that. Our big emphasis was taking those practices to game day, and I thought our players did a fantastic job with that. And certainly it gives you a lot of confidence just in, you're playing better each week, but it's good to see the tangible results on the scoreboard this past weekend. So, that's huge going into this week's game.
Coach, execution-wise, when you looked at the tape, what went right execution-wise? What really stood out to you?
Well, first, only one ball on the ground all night, which that was going to be a huge issue. And we talked about it Friday and Saturday. Just we had to do a great job with taking care of the football. And really the one on the ground, I really don't think it had anything to do with the wet conditions. I think it was just poor ball security by the one receiver. But I thought we did a great job taking care of the football. We did a great job decision-wise, primarily at the quarterback position. I thought our offensive line executed a much higher level than what we'd had the previous couple of games. I just thought there was lots of positives when it comes to execution on Saturday.
Coach Rice, pretty high-powered offense. I know JT Daniels got a little banged up, but what have you seen through the first 4 games with them, which has allowed them to put up so many points? Well,
they've got, obviously JT Daniels has an elite arm. In the pocket, he does a really good job. They have some playmakers. I mean, McCaffrey may be the best receiver we've seen so far this season. I mean, he had a huge game against South Florida the other night. Had a huge game against Houston. He had almost 200 yards receiving Saturday night, so he's pretty elite. Connor's out of the backfield. I think he had an 80-yard touchdown against South Florida Saturday on the pipe route, and he's made plays in every ball game. So I think it's a combination of a really good quarterback, a very solid offensive line, and then playmakers that have big playability all around. So they're averaging 35 points a game. They put up big numbers in virtually all their games. So we've got our hands full offensively.
Coach, continuing on the offense, is this one of those weeks we might see a lot more lengthy players who can kind of live in the space as they have that high-powered West Coast offense we've seen?
Well, I think that, you saw the other night, I think, Sam Danka, BJ, Jeremy, their length at the second level was a factor the other night, and I think that we're trying more and more to get different combinations on the field and just getting a lot of people on the field. So definitely that helps, and you'll see those guys on the field this week.
So a smile and a celebration after your last stop Saturday night. You want to win the game, but how important was the shutout, and were you you guys talking about that, as the game went along Saturday?
Well, sure, you want to get a game like that, but we didn't talk about it a ton during the game. The thing I liked was that as we put some of the younger guys in, we had a lot of Pirates play their first college snaps Saturday night. I was very pleased that they went in there and it didn't get sloppy. Both sides of the ball. Raheem went in there and executed with some backups, and the ball wasn't on the ground. There weren't false starts. It didn't get real sloppy offensively. Our defensive kids went in there, and you had Jamari Young, Josh Benton, first college tackles, but they were in the right places, and we didn't give up a big play and stuff like that. So it was good to get the shutout with playing a lot of people and not having a big drop off.
Coach, how much do you emphasize the fact that the American play starts this week, that you're chasing a championship, that 1-3 is in the rearview mirror, and the chase for that championship starts this week?
Well, the kids, we talked about it right after the game in the locker room, that conference play starts this week, but, it doesn't change kind of our weekly mentality. The focus is just, go 1-0 this week. That's it. There's really nothing else. And even beyond that, it's, have a great day today. Have a great Tuesday. You can't have a great week if you don't start off with a great day on Tuesday. And obviously with, all the stuff we do on Tuesday, it's a pretty high contact day. Having a solid day today is going to be key to playing well on Saturday.
Sounded like y'all added some more competition periods last week between the first units. Is that something you want to continue going forward? It seems to work pretty well.
Well, when we can, and you do have, again, similar kind of styles from Rice as to what we play. So, we'll be able to incorporate some of those in this week. And the other thing we did is we worked them in at the end of practice last week, which usually we do them earlier in practice. But, we just felt like, and we kind of emphasized to our players that, against Marshall and App, we had chances to win the ball game in the fourth quarter, and we didn't finish the way we wanted to. And so it's, really focusing on trying to finish and focus, when we're tired, when it's late in the practice, and that, hopefully, kind of translating that mentality to, focusing and finishing there in the fourth quarter. So I thought the players responded to some of our changes last week with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and they felt good about it. So we'll continue to look at ways to mix things up and still achieve our goals.
Coach, to go on the conference, a lot of new teams this year. You face some new teams and new environments in the non-conference. How does that help you as you go into facing a bunch of newer teams to the conference?
Well, I think it's just, this is the new American, and you're facing a new member in the opener. And, I think that East Carolina fans know Rice, from the Conference USA days, and so they know what we're up against. I've known Coach Bloomgren for, 20-some years since he first got into coaching, and I was a young high school coach. So I know him very well, know what he's about. So there is some familiarity, even though it's a new team.
Coach, with Javius, we all saw the talents early on, even when y'all were recruiting him, but it seemed like dating back to the spring, y'all kind of knew he was ready to play right away. So what was it about him, how he carried himself, that allowed y'all to kind of trust him that way?
It's hard to quantify it. It's the it factor, and some guys just have it. And, all the ones that play eventually have it. But, very few come in and they're freshmen. You're like, okay, he has the maturity, he has the confidence to go along with the ability, and it's not false confidence and it's not cockiness. It's just, he has the mentality to play early, and not all of them do, but you knew he did. And, it's why I put him back deep as a kickoff return guy at Michigan. I was a little uneasy about that, but I have confidence in him. And I think, the more experience he gets, the more he looks like he belongs. Those two tackles on kickoff were very impressive plays. The defensive coaches would love to get a hold of him. But, the touchdown run, first college touchdown, and that was a pretty special play. I mean, there's two unblocked defenders out there that he made miss, right before the goal line. So I just think he's got a combination of ability and some intangibles with just being a guy that's ready to play.
Anything else, Coach?
All right, thanks a lot.